Good morning. This is September 29th. What day is it today? Friday, 2023. And we are in BBIS first semester English class. We had a holiday yesterday and we had our class on Wednesday, where I mistakenly repeated many paragraphs, almost paragraph 1 to 8. And then you reminded me only after 19 minutes of the class. When I was watching the video at home, I saw it was about 19 minutes past that he reminded me. So we have done, okay. And then we moved from paragraph 7. I talked about the concept of the cultural continuum, high contact countries, cultures, low contact cultures. Then we moved to paragraph 8, where we talked about America, the middle zone, where they have neither too much distance nor too close, 18 inches, zone of privacy concept. Then we came to paragraph 9, where we talked about how the use of space differs even between sexes, we said. Even men and women do not use space the same way. And we saw how women prefer staying close when they talk because women seek for intimacy and relationship when they talk. And men maintain distance because men are not seeking intimacy or friendship or relationship when they talk. Rather, they are seeking to maintain their status, their hierarchy, their superiority, in a sense their ego. So men prefer maintaining larger distance as they talk with somebody else. Women prefer staying close. And then in paragraph 9 we were reading that there are cultures which communicate at arm's length. Let's say Estonians maybe, Japanese at home maybe, or there are cultures that communicate cheek to jowl. This is the cheek and this is the jowl. So the cheek and jowl are very close. So when you say communicating cheek to jowl, you mean very close, staying very close. It's an idiom. There are a lot of idioms in this essay, and it will be better if you note down. One idea can be you maintain a vocabulary note copy. Note copy dedicated for vocabulary. And in that note copy, you maintain new words you meet in these essays, write their meanings, their synonyms, antonyms. That way, gradually your vocabulary will increase. And having a good vocabulary will give you good result when you take later on IELTS exams, TOEFL exams, any other exams, right? In those tests, good vocabulary brings better marks. Then we read paragraph 10, where we said that we read about how even, let me show the paragraphs. I guess I should, why should I use this book? I should go to the text, I guess. Okay, so we were in paragraph 10. I guess we read paragraph 10 also, right? We were in paragraph 11, where we said that even within a single country, how people use space differs, right? And if you remember in the thesis statement in paragraph 4, the first idea was space use differs from culture to culture. The second idea was space use differs from group to group even within a single country. The third idea was space use differs even between the sexes. These were the three clauses in the thesis statement. And look here, this sentence in paragraph 10 is supporting the second clause. Space use differs from group to group within a single country. And we have example of Soviet Union, right? So look here, one more thing I want to tell you today, maybe I didn't explain previous classes. This essay is an argument. This essay is an argument. It is argumentative writing. And two important things in argumentative writing that you should pay attention to is in an argument makes a claim. In an argument, a speaker always makes a claim. And then he supports the claim. So how does he support the claim? He may support the claim by giving a reason. In that case, the sentence might start with because, since. Or then he may support the claim by bringing evidences. Right? For example, here, look here. It just goes to show that you can't take things for granted even within the borders of a single country. This is a claim. This is a claim. What is a claim? Just a statement that says something. A claim is you say something and you want to prove it. Simple thing. Anything can be a claim. You make a statement. You say something to people. And then you prove it because that's your view. So here is a claim. You can't take things for granted even within the borders of a single country. If you think that in one country all people may be using space the same way, then you are wrong. See the meaning? If you think that in a single country there is single culture and there is single way of using space, you are wrong. You can't take things for granted. So this is a claim. Now after claim, take that unwilling amalgamation of ethnic minorities, the Soviet Union. Now this sentence, this is an evidence to back up the claim. In argumentative writing, you go on making claims and then you go on supporting your claims. And if you don't support your claim, people don't believe you. And in IELTS writing or TOEFL writing or any other writings, this is very significant. When you do writing in, for example, your IELTS test, I'm focusing this because I know most of you will take this test when you finish your graduation. You might take. So I'm time and again focusing. So you make a claim and then see the evidence. Take that unwilling amalgamation of ethnic minorities, the Soviet Union. The writer brings the example of Soviet Union to make the argument that even within a single country, how people use space differs. Now this is evidence to support the claim as I wrote. According to psychologist Robert Sommer. Now look, what is this? In academic writing, you make a claim. Good, fine. Then you offer a reason to support the claim. Here we have the reason here. Then you bring an evidence to support the reason. Here you said that the Soviet Union doesn't use space the same way everywhere. Here you are saying that people in Soviet Union don't use space the same way in a single country. Reason? Now you are bringing evidence. Look here. According to psychologist Robert Sommer, this sentence we call it authority. What do we mean by authority in academic writing? Academic writing has one characteristic that you should understand. Academic writing is not based on bluff. Academic writing is not based on gossip. Academic writing is not based on opinions. Academic writing is based on study and research. Academic writing is based on study and research. And in academic writing, you say something, okay, then you give a reason to convince your reader to believe what you're saying. Then you bring an evidence to prove the reason, to convince, to support the reason. And as you bring the evidence to support the reason, what you can do is, you can bring a resource or authority. You can bring a resource or authority. That's why we say that academic writing is an ongoing conversation. Academic writing is an ongoing conversation. What do I mean by this? Look here. Lisa Davis is talking to you, to us, let's say. Lisa Davis is talking to us. Lisa Davis is in conversation with us in a sense. Or you can say, Lisa Davis is in conversation with Americans. Because earlier I said this essay was primarily written for the American people who go to foreign countries to do business. And she is advising them how to behave when you go to foreign countries like Arabian countries. So Lisa Davis is having a conversation with the American people, and she's talking about how to use space in a foreign culture. Now in that conversation, do you see Lisa Davis is bringing the idea of psychologist Robert Sommer. When you bring ideas of other people to support what you are saying, you gain trust, you gain reliability, and you become, people believe what you're saying. You get respect. That's why researchers are highly paid. Why? Because they spend years, months, days, weeks studying other people's opinion, and they bring their opinion to support what they are saying. So understand that this is authority or resource. And who is Robert Sommer? If you see below, look, Robert Sommer is not an ordinary fellow like you and me. Robert Sommer is a professor at a university. He is a professor of psychology at University of California at Davis. So she is bringing, Lisa Davis is bringing an academic evidence to back up what she is claiming. Lisa Davis, this is her claim. This is her claim. Even within a single country, you cannot take things for granted. Do not assume that if you are in one country, everybody around the country will use the same way. Lisa Davis' claim. Then she gives a reason. For example, come to Soviet Union, that collection of ethnic minorities, you will see there that even within Soviet Union, people don't use space same way. And before she can go further with this example, she brings an authority. According to psychologist Robert Sommer, who along with Edward Hall sparked the study of personal space. Look, she says that her authority is about study of personal space. Robert Sommer, the psychologist, Edward Hall, the anthropologist. Edward Hall is an anthropologist who studies development of human society. And Robert Sommer is a psychologist who studies human behavior. These two people together did a study about personal space. And Lisa Davis is quoting their opinion. This means what Lisa Davis is saying is reliable because she is bringing relevant authority. Sometimes if you bring an authority and if your authority has no connection with you, what is saying, people won't trust you. It's not enough to bring authority. You must show that your authority is educated, your authority is scholarly, your authority is relevant. What is relevant? Look, they studied space. Then spatial needs collide in the republics. Now this is another claim, look. And who is making this claim? Lisa Davis is making claim. This claim, Lisa Davis is making this claim. But who made this claim originally? Originally, Edward Hall and Robert Sommer made this claim. In academic writing, you can borrow other people's claim and reuse their claim to make your point. That's why academic writing is conversation. When you are at a coffee table, for example, with 5 friends, 10 friends having coffee, and when you have a conversation, you say, didn't you hear him what he said earlier? You quote your friend, what he said earlier, and you continue talking. Even in a table talk at home or in coffee table while eating, drinking, when you are having an informal conversation, have you seen how we listen to our friends, what they're saying, and then we quote what they said instantly. We quote what they said minute before, and then we make our view quoting what they said. That's why we say academic writing is an ongoing conversation. What did I say? Academic writing is an ongoing conversation. Here, Lisa Davis is talking to our American audience. Or we can say Lisa Davis is talking to us, the BBIS students. And in this conversation between Lisa Davis and us, Lisa Davis is bringing Robert Sommer's view and Edward Hall's view to support what she's saying. Not only that, she is borrowing Robert Sommer's claim. What claim? Spatial needs collide in the Republic. This is, who said this? This was said by Robert Somers. Originally, Robert Somers said this. And Lisa Davis is borrowing this claim to make an argument. Look, go ahead. Claim. Now look, the moment you bring a claim, what do you need next? You need support. Whenever you write, particularly arguments, whenever you make a claim, always bring a support. If you go on making claim without support, nobody believes you. You are a mediocre writer. Who is a mediocre writer? A bad writer. Look here, there is a claim. What claim? Spatial needs collide within the Republic. What does it mean? Inside a single country, there are Estonians and there are Russians. Both of them live in Soviet Union. But Estonians are low contact people. Russians are high contact people. So do you see, within a single country, opposite habits of space use exist. Look, read ahead. The Estonians. Now what is this? This is an example. What is the function of this example? The function of this example is to support this claim. The Estonians are a non-contact people. Now another important thing, do you see? Oh wait, where did this inverted comma open? It is closing here. Where did it open? Where did it open? Can somebody tell me where it opens? Oh, here, right? So the inverted comma opens here and it closes here. Another important thing, when you bring support for your claim, you can bring support or evidence for your claim in 3 or 4 ways. For example, you can summarize what someone said and write your summary of what someone said. You can paraphrase what someone says, or you can quote what someone says. Here, Lisa Davis is quoting. And what will happen? What will happen if Lisa Davis forgot to put this inverted comma? What will happen if Lisa Davis forgot to put this inverted comma? She will be accused of plagiarism. Plagiarism. What is plagiarism? Plagiarism is academic theft, academic robbery, academic stealing, academic cheating, academic dishonesty. And if you are in a Western university, your degree may be scrapped and you will be expelled from the college if you are accused of plagiarism. This is a very serious crime a student may do. Even here in Nepal, when you submit a thesis and masters now, they have plagiarism checking software at the university. You submit soft copies, they upload on the website, and it checks if you have stolen. So how to avoid plagiarism? To avoid plagiarism and also use, now look the problem. You want to use other people's ideas, but you don't want to be accused of stealing. So what do? You do two things. You acknowledge whose ideas you're bringing. How do you acknowledge? By mentioning their name. Robert Somers, she is mentioning their name. Second, you acknowledge that this idea is not yours originally. You are simply borrowing by putting the idea in within inverted comma. When do you put an idea into inverted comma? Understand please? You put other people's ideas into inverted comma only if you are quoting exact words they said. But suppose you are paraphrasing, summarizing, then you don't need to quote. Quote means exact words as written or said by somebody. Are you clear? Okay. The Estonians are a non-contact people, says Sommer of the University of California. So you quote the authority, then you tell their academic background. Whenever you quote a source in a single sentence, introduce your authority's academic background. Look, she is telling he is from University of California. The moment you read that Lisa Davis is quoting a university professor, you believe Lisa Davis. If she was quoting Divakar sir, you won't believe. Because Divakar sir does not have that authority which he has. Because Divakar sir never made study of space himself. So quoting Divakar will be wrong. Because Divakar sir has no study of space used. Quoting Somers is right. Because Somers has made study of space. Okay. I went to a hands around the Baltic event. Look, he says Estonians are non-contact people, claim. Estonians are non-contact people, claim in the quotation mark. Now evidence. I went to a hands around the Baltic event. Hands around is where you gather 1,000 people, 500 people, 100 people for demonstrations, for solidarity, and you hold each other's hands and make a long line or circle. You may have seen in Nepal also, right? Baltics event and nobody touched hands. Look, how are Estonians? They go to a hands around event where you are supposed to hold each other's hands and they avoid holding each other's hands because they are not only low contact, they are non-contact. They never touch other people, Estonians. The Russians, on the other hand, are high contact. The Estonians say, now look, up to here, you saw the difference. Low contact, who? Estonian. High contact, who? Russian. So you have difference. Now you have problem. Because if you remember, chapter 1 introduction said, in this chapter you will read about the cultural differences and the problems. Cultural differences and the problems. So if we read the differences, low contact, Estonians, high contact, Russians. Now read the problem. The Estonians say the Russians are pushy. If you are pushy, you always chase after people. You are always after people. You are very close to them. They don't like, they are always with them. Now Estonians have this wrong impression that the Russians are pushy and the Russians say the Estonians are cold. Now Estonians stay away. So Russians falsely have the impression that Estonians are cold, indifferent people. Now Russians come always very close. So Estonians have this false impression that Russians are pushy people. Evidence to support the claim. Okay, that cold, that spatial needs collide in the, okay, my comment, okay. So in this paragraph, just a minute, before I move ahead, let me show the whole paragraph and tell you how to read. Look, the single paragraph. So, where is that? Where did he write collide? Yes. This is the main idea of the paragraph. And this main idea is the rephrase of this idea in the opening. And if you see in this paragraph, first you have detail, then you have detail, and in between the details you have main idea. In between, this is called sandwich structure of paragraph. My spelling may be doubtful about sandwich. I don't know how to spell sandwich. SANDWICH or TCH? I don't know. I'm not sure. I just forgot. Somebody help me. How do you spell sandwich? Your English teacher can't spell even sandwich, right? So help me. SANDWICH. Okay. I am right? I'm right. Okay. So what is sandwich structure? You bring some detailed example. Then you present the main idea. Again you bring example. Such paragraphs are rare. And they are difficult. It's difficult to find out the main idea. You need skill to read. Okay. So main idea or main claim, done. Let's move ahead. I am doing such a detailed teaching because I am very conscious about the 8-9 objectives of this course. And in every class, I am focusing on the objectives of the course, right? In a single class, I am covering many objectives. And I hope you are paying attention. Because in coming days, I won't explain like this. I'll be calling you and I'll be asking you to explain other essays this way. Okay. Nor are things easier within the United States. Now look, in your thesis statement, the second strand was that within a single, the second idea was even within a single country, from group to group, space use differs. Now claim, you have a claim, nor, now see this structure. In the previous paragraph, the claim was here. Now you have the claim at the very first sentence. Nor are things easier within the United States. Researchers have found, look, claim, and now support. What kind of support? Research support. Researchers have found, for instance means for example, that middle class Caucasian school teachers often jump to mistaken conclusions when dealing with a child from a different background. If a girl, now all this up to here, from here to here, this is detail, this is details, and this one, this is main idea. You can call this also as major claim. You can call these as support to the claim. And remember this word nor. If you pay attention, the word nor makes you remember the previous paragraph where he talked about Soviet Union. In the previous paragraph, he gave example of Soviet Union, Estonians and Russians. And he said that within a single country also, space use differs. Now here again the same case. Within a single country, space use differs. But previous paragraph brought example of Russia. This paragraph brings example of America. But the idea is same. Within a single country also, how people use space differs. And this idea is the second part of thesis statement, paragraph 4. Okay, move ahead. Now in academic writing, academic reading, another thing to understand is that ideas are not only presented verbally. Many times in academic writing, you will see diagrams. You will see diagrams. You will see charts. You will see graphs. You will see demographics. You will see pictures. You will see visuals. And you will see tables. In academic writing, information is presented not just verbally. It can be presented in many other ways. And when information is presented as diagram, chart, graph, demographics, or pictures, visuals, or tables, it becomes more difficult to read. It becomes more difficult to read. So if you are preparing for your IELTS exam, for example, understand that in IELTS also, TOEFL also, SAT also, GMAT also, GRE also, you will be given to read such other ways of presenting information. And you should have this habit of reading them. Look here, simply as you read a table, now how do we read table? Understand that you can see two axes in table, right? The x-axis and the y-axis. In a sense, let's go this way and this way. So here, as you can see, you have variable, intimate conversation, personal conversation, social conversation, public conversation. So on this axis, you have type of conversation, right? Now on the other axis, the manner of conversation. Look here. Intimate, if a conversation is intimate, people will be either touching or they will be at 18 inches difference. Mostly, I guess this is about America. Now, how do they speak here? They will whisper. They will whisper. Now, where can you have such conversation? Like people who are emotionally closer, right? Now, if other people come within this territory, then they will feel threatened. If you are having intimate conversation in a garden, let's say there is a bench in the garden, and you are with a boyfriend, girlfriend having intimate conversation, and just imagine a stranger comes and sits by your side. Now you will feel threatened, right? Now second situation, personal conversation, 18 inches to 4 feet. And can you see the distance increases as the purpose of conversation changes? Personal conversation, 18 inches to 4 feet, and the lower end is soft voice. Either you speak with a soft voice, handshake, distance. The distance most couples stand in public. How much distance? Handshake distance, right? Friends also use the personal zone. You can be talking to a friend, right? Not your boyfriend, not your girlfriend, not your wife, husband, but a friend. Okay, now move ahead. Third situation, social circumstances. So in society, suppose you are in a shop, shopping. Then you have 4 feet to 12 feet distance, and minimum distance is between salespeople, for example, salespeople and customers, between people who work together, like teachers in a staff room, right? And social gatherings, meetings. And how do you speak? You speak with a full voice, because the distance is 4 to 12 feet. Then you have public conversation, where you have greater than 12 feet distance. When your leaders give a political speech, for example, right? There are situations such as teaching, classroom, delivering a speech, there you speak with a loud voice. Now, this information was presented to you in the form of a table, right? Lisa Davis borrowed this information. She got from somewhere else. So to avoid plagiarism, look what she's doing. She is giving the source. So whenever you borrow information, Just below the graph, picture table, etc. Instantly give the source. Adopted. What is the language? See, adopted. She didn't copy exactly, or she might have copied exactly. Adopted from the silent language. You italicize. Why are you italicizing? This is a book name. When you refer a book, you italicize. In handwriting, you underline. If you are writing with your hand, you underline. But if you are typing on computer, you italicize. By Edward Hall, full name of the author. Look here. On a book's name, first the silent language, then author, author's name, then New York Anchor Books, then publisher, who published. Look how much information you have to give. Then year of publication, when this is published, then page. Oh God, look. Whenever you borrow other people's ideas, to avoid being accused of stealing, first you mention the author. Who? Edward. Sorry. First you mention the book. You mention the book. Then mention the author. Then mention the publisher. Then mention the year of publication. Year of publication. Finally, mention the page number where you found the information. Look, 184 to 185. This means this table in that book is spread across 2 pages. If you don't give this much information, you will be accused of stealing. This is called, let's say, in-text citation. You cite the source inside the text. Now, at the end of this chapter, there will be something called works cited list. What did I say? Works cited list. In academic writing, you borrow other people's ideas. No problem. Whenever you borrow, you acknowledge like this. And whenever you acknowledge like this, at the end of your writing, you provide detailed information about the books you borrowed. Because he may like to read in detail that book. So what does he find? When you do like this, you become respected because you are spending time and effort to bring other people's ideas. That's how academic writing is a conversation, ongoing conversation among scholars. Okay. Okay, let's move ahead. In paragraph, we were in paragraph 11, right? I moved to paragraph 12. Such glitches. There is one characteristic of academic writing. Let me explain it here. Academic writing has coherence and unity. One rule is that when you write a paragraph, let's say here is a paragraph, and there is another paragraph, right? So your 2 paragraphs should have some kind of connection. If your essay has 10 paragraphs, every paragraph should have a link with other paragraph. Let me show you how Lisa Davis does this thing. Such glitches. The word such is called as we call this continuous idea marker. It refers to an idea in the previous paragraph. When she says such glitches in paragraph 12 opening sentence, you need to go back to paragraph 11 where she says in United States, a Caucasian teacher having conversation with Asian student, might think that the student has done something wrong. If the student averts her eyes out of respect. What is a glitch? Glitch is a malfunction where you didn't intend and something wrong happens. A glitch is when things don't work temporarily. A glitch is, what is a glitch? When things do not work as you planned temporarily. So the example, the student is talking to the teacher and she looks down. The teacher is Caucasian. In his culture, you are supposed to have direct eye contact. The student has gone to America from Asia, India perhaps. In her culture, you don't look into teacher's eyes when they're scolding. So to respect the teacher, she looks down. But the teacher thinks that because she is not looking into my eyes as she's speaking, she must have done something wrong. So there is communication problem. This is called as glitch. And when you have this phrase, such glitches, you have to go back and recall all the story. Without remembering the story about the Caucasian teacher and the Asian student, you will not understand this idea marker. And when you read this paragraph, instantly your brain, your memory goes to the previous paragraph. And you remember. And when you go to previous paragraph to understand this, it sets a connection between the two paragraphs. It sets connection paragraph 11 and 12. Look how academic writing is structured. There are ways to show unity among paragraphs. Are you scared? Because I'm telling so many serious things? I don't know. Take it easy. Okay. Such glitches are all the more likely. When I read at home, preparing your class, look what I do. I write all the word meanings myself. Look my effort. I'm showing this to inspire you. Do the same thing. Whenever you read, find a new word, log into the net, check meaning and note down. That way you increase the vocabulary gradually. Such glitches are all the more likely. Now this is claim. What is this? This is a claim. Because, now look, your reason that you bring to support the claim may start with because, it may also start with since. Because spatial behavior is automatic. Now this is the main idea. This is the main idea. Or you can say this is also the main claim of the paragraph. Because the whole paragraph will prove the idea that spatial behavior is automatic. You don't think, because you have learned, as you don't think to speak your mother tongue, when you speak Nepali, you don't think at every word what is to say. Space behavior is so natural to you, it occurs automatically. Okay. Spatial behavior is automatic. Now, explain. Now, what is this? What is this? You call this? You call this dash. What do you call? Dash. What is the function of dash? Dashes are used to separate explanations and concepts. Look, before dash there is this sentence. Spatial behavior is automatic, an idea. Then dash, it snaps into focus only when someone doesn't play by the rules. Now this is explanation. And this is the idea. And you use dashes when you present an idea and you want to explain it for a reader, because you think they may not understand it. You are aiding an idea. So spatial behavior is automatic. It snaps into focus only when someone doesn't play by the rule. Have you seen? If I walk normally in this class, nobody bothers about it, right? But suppose I happen to touch him, then he bothers, because I'm breaking my rule. As a man, I'm not supposed to touch his body in class as a teacher. But if I do this thing, now he becomes alert, because I'm breaking the rule. When you follow the rules of conversation, nobody bothers about it. The moment you break, the moment you violate rule, people become alert because they start doubting you. They start suspecting you. They think you have some ill intention. You have some ill intention. Especially if you travel through public buses in Kathmandu, you may have had such experiences, right? When people brush up against you in the corridor of the buses, when they sexually molest you, try to molest you, when they touch body parts and you feel awkward. You may have had such experience or may not have had. But this happens in public transport, for example. Okay. Say an American, now example, look, say, what is this? The word say introduces an example. Say an American businessman is alone in a roomy elevator. When another man enters, the newcomer, who is this newcomer? Non-American. Newcomer means non-American. Fails to perform the national ritual of taking a corner and staring into space. What do Americans do? If they are entering an elevator, they will get in and the first thing the door closes, and what the American does is, the American stands in the corner and looks on the ceiling. The American will not look into the eyes of the people in the elevator. This is American culture. Because all are strangers, unknown people. So you don't look into their eyes like Nepalese people and smile at a stranger. No. Stand in the corner and look at the ceiling. Now imagine a Nepali gets in there who doesn't know this thing, and the Nepali will look into the American's eyes and start smiling at them. Now the American will start doubting that this guy is not a safe person, right? And look, then what happens? Go ahead. Same paragraph is continuing. Instead, he stands a few inches. Look, Americans have minimum 18 inches distance. And this Nepali, for example, stands a few inches away from the American. And this Nepali smiles at the American. And this Nepali has eye contact with the American. Then what happens? Which is simple politeness for the Nepali. In some cultures, you, now this you means the American. You start to search for a reason. Why is he smiling? Why is he looking into my eyes? Why is he so close to me? Reason. Explanation. Okay. Says a psychologist Eric Nobles. Look, earlier he brought one psychologist, Sommer something. Now he brings another psychologist. Why is she bringing psychologists? Because space use is a psychological behavior. How people behave while they use space, it is a psychological behavior. So can you see, she's bringing psychologist Eric Nobles at the University of, previously it was from California. University of California, have you seen? She brings all authorities from different universities. Isn't Lisa Davis showing you that she is very scholarly woman? Isn't she proving you that she is highly studious woman, right? At the University of Arkansas, in many cases, you come up with one reasonable explanation. In many cases, you come up with one reasonable explanation without even being aware of it. You say, is this guy a pickpocket? Is he psychotic? If no explanation seems to fit, you just think this guy is weird. I better get out of here. And before he reaches his destination, he will get out. Because he didn't find a good reason to be convinced. Now, another important thing I want to tell you here, please pay attention, is this thing. Look here. In academic writing, you quote, right? So double quote, right? Double quote. And within this quotation, you have another quotation. Quotation inside quotation. Pay attention. Quotation inside. So when you bring quotation inside quotation, how do you present? First, you use double quote. Fine, double quote. Then bring the original quote. In many cases, you came up with one reason without. Now you have another quote inside. Now use single quote. For the original, use double quote. For another reference, use single quote. Is this guy a pickpocket? Now your single quote ends here. This guy is psychotic. Again, you single quote. And look here. Why do you think? Here we have 2 inverted comma. Here we have how many? 3. Remember that this inverted comma is a closing for this one. Okay? Do you understand? This first inverted comma is closing for this single quote. And these 2 are closing for this quote. Are you clear? So when you are bringing quotation inside quotation, at the end there are 3 commas, right? Are you clear? At first 2 commas, then inside single commas, and then how many commas? 3. Look, this is called the mechanism of academic writing, we call this. What do we call it? And to learn such things, what you should read? You should read MLA Handbook. What should you read? Or APA Handbook. What did I say? These are called style guide. In management, like your studies, you will use APA, not MLA. So you can go log into internet and find the soft copy, or you can get from me. We have soft copies sometimes. You should learn APA. APA stands for American Psychological Association. APA stands for American Psychological Association. MLA stands for Modern Language Association. MLA style is used in humanities. APA is used in education and management. But it's very important that you learn such things gradually. When you reach 7th semester and write your research paper, even though these things right now, you will have easy time then. Okay. In fact, such caution, look again, such caution. What line is it telling such caution? Look here. I better get out of here. Paragraph 12. Paragraph 12. Such caution. Paragraph 13. But do you see interestingly, when you, this is called, we call this continuous idea marker. What do we call? What do we call it? Continuous idea marker. We call this continuous because this such caution refers to this sentence here. The idea that I had better get out of here. And this is paragraph 13. This is paragraph 12. And the 2 paragraphs have coherence and correction because this continuous idea marker refers to an idea before. When one paragraph refers, let's say, when a word like such caution, when a phrase like such caution refers to an idea in another paragraph, like I had better get out of here, then the 2 paragraphs get connected. The 2 paragraphs get connected, and we call this unity in writing. What do we call it? What do we call it? Unity in writing. And when you can create such unity, the whole 18 paragraphs hang together. When you can connect, have you seen? I am showing you gradually. In every paragraph, you have an indication that links the paragraph with the previous paragraph. Have you seen? I give you 2 examples today. Okay. In fact, such caution is not always unwarranted because an abnormal use of space can indicate that something is going on. Now this is claim. What is this? This is a claim, or you can call this, you can also call this as main idea. Okay, research has shown that, look, Lisa Davis could have said, Facebook tells that. If Lisa Davis says, Facebook tells that, you won't believe her. Because Facebook has all fake news. But look, what is he talking about? Research. So academic writing is about research. Academic writing is about, remember, academic writing is 100% based on research. There may be imagination, I agree, partially, but primarily academic writing is based on research. And what is research? Research is talking to other people to solve your problem. Research is talking to other people to solve your. You never do research alone. You never do research alone. The moment you start research, you have to converse with other people. Look here, Lisa Davis. Is she writing alone? She is bringing Edward Hall. She is bringing Somers. She is bringing another psychologist. Research has shown that when people with schizophrenia, what is schizophrenia? Schizophrenia is mental disorder. Schizophrenia is mental disorder where you have a split personality. Check more at home. When people have schizophrenia, people with schizophrenia approach another person, they often either get closer than normal or stay unusually distant. Now look, this is an example Lisa Davis brings to support what? This idea. Abnormal use of space can indicate that something odd is going on. For example, there may be psychological problem. And a small study of prisoners, look, second example, seem to show that those with a history of violence needed up to 3 times the space taken by non-violent inmates. She brings 2 studies. One based on research. So criminal people, when they talk to somebody, they maintain 3 times more distance. Why? One, a criminal will have a doubt that that guy may attack me. Right? He may have a criminal, when he is talking to somebody, he always has this doubt that he may attack me, kill me. Right? Injure me. So he will maintain distance for safety. Right? This reason, see them. Okay. These are reminders that the human, look here, these, where is it? Look, these means 1, these means 2. These are reminders that the human need for space is based in an animal reality. This is another claim. This is another claim. This is one claim with 2 supports. We have another claim, and you will see that this claim will be explained further in next paragraph. The closer you allow a stranger, the more vulnerable you become. That's why in a patch of jungle, only one lion can roam. If another lion gets into the same patch of jungle, they will fight. Because one lion feels threatened by another lion. Have you seen even buffaloes? If you bring 2 strange buffaloes together, they will start fighting. Animals, look, the closer you allow a stranger, the more vulnerable you. Imagine he is just 6 inches away from me. He can easily blow me. Easily blow me, push me, right? Kill me, hit me. But if I'm here, 6 feet away, if he wants to attack me, I'll have some time to safeguard myself. So animals always maintain larger distance from other animals because they have this sense of security. If you are closer to someone, they may easily attack you. So always maintain distance. Do you realize up to paragraph 10, I guess, up to now 11, up to paragraph 11, Lisa Davis was telling how people use space. From paragraph 12 onwards, she explains why people use space that way. Do you realize now she's giving reasons for space use? Okay. But the spatial differences, now another important thing, pay attention. What is this? But we call words like but as contrast marker. What do we call it? They bring idea 1 but idea 2, and you will see that the two ideas connected with but, they will be opposite. They will be opposite. And but is often used in argumentative writing. We also call but as argument marker or argument indicator. What do we call it? Argument indicator. In argumentative writing, but is very often used. But, however, even though, because in arguments you often say opposing things. But the spatial differences among cultures point to something beyond the self-protection. Look, in the previous paragraph, he said that animals don't stay closer. Criminals don't stay closer for self-protection. They maintain distance. Now this idea of self-protection in paragraph, which paragraph? The idea of self-protection in paragraph 14 is coming from paragraph 13. Do you realize? The idea of self-protection was explained in paragraph 13. Right? And by referring to this idea in paragraph 14, again para 13 and para 14 get connected. Beyond self-protection, okay. The spatial difference among cultures point to something beyond self-protection. What is that? Something. What is that something? Let's read. Anthropologist Edward Hall. Again, he brings anthropologist. Why this is good source? Because anthropologists study human behavior in society. That a culture's use of space is also evidence of a reliance on one sense over another. Now this is main idea or claim. Middle Easterners get much. Now this example. Middle Easterners get much of their information through their sense of smell and touch. Saudi people study their surrounding by smelling. Saudi people study their environment by touching things. Americans do not study environment by smelling. Americans do not study environment by touching. Americans use sense of sight to study the surrounding. Saudi people use sense of smell. That's why Saudis have to come closer. Because Saudis understand things around by smelling. So they come closer. Because Saudis understand things by touching. So they come closer. Americans don't understand surrounding by smelling and touching. Americans study surrounding by looking at things. So to look at things, do you realize if you use camera, mobile phone, there are two modes. Zoom in, zoom out. Zoom in, zoom out. So Saudis zoom in. They go closer. Americans zoom out. That's why the American goes in the corner. Because from the corner, you can easily survey what's in the elevator. Look, why does the American maintain a distance? Why does the American need a distance? Why does the American get into the corner? Because staying in the corner, he can study everybody in the elevator. If he was so close, he won't be able to study the person. Arabian, he will come closer. Because Arabians study surrounding by smelling and touching. Americans study surrounding not by smelling and touching, by looking. So what sense you use decides how much distance you use. Look here. Okay. Americans rely primarily on visual information, backing up in order to see an intelligible picture. So paragraph 14 gives you an idea about why people use space the way they use. Let me mark the number here. Yeah, you need a break? Okay, but take only 5 minutes break, okay? Don't take longer than 5 minutes. Here we give a break. Take a break.